to Checkpoint Reach, a weekly show where we discuss a topic in gaming, occasional news stories, movies and TV quotes, and throw in some random life rants. Thank you all so much again for joining us for another week. I am your host, Lex, along with my co host, Ernie.
Well, hello, my friend. Dude, well, if it isn't the man who's better live, how are you?
I am good, dude. Thank you so much. It has been a while since we've been recording, actually. And also, shout out to our friend of the channel, Jason, for that little song in the beginning, dude. You jam out to it. If it works, it's there. If it's not there, then ignore this. But dude, we've been it's been a little hiatus, right, from us recording. So it's been a while. So thank you all so much for the patience. We've been having to do a couple little renovations, I suppose, if you will. But I think we're here. So I'm glad, dude. I'm glad to see you again. I'm glad to be chatting with you again. How you been, dude?
I'm doing well, dude. Just chilling. Kind of just getting used to having a week off of school before I go back into it pretty wholeheartedly. So I've been trying to get some gaming in. I started messing with. We'll get into the gaming a little bit later, but I got into something that I'll get into the front of the channel, front of the chan, as you say. Kyle Golden Doodle had brought it to my attention, which I thought was pretty awesome. But I've been overall just awesome, dude. Very happy, very excited. I'm really, really glad to be doing this episode with you. I've missed this, and I'm so glad to like be able to speak on gaming again. I think that's like one of my favorite things to do in the week is just talk gaming. I love talking movies too, but sadly we don't do that anymore. But for the most part, dude, freaking the gaming is just fun, man. What about yourself, dude? How have you been feeling?
Yeah, man, it's been great. I mean, it's been a hectic week, couple weeks, obviously, for us trying to figure out what's been going on with our technical issues and all that stuff. We're not professionals, as you can see, but hey, we're trying to be as much as we can. But yes, we appreciate Ernie. I appreciate your efforts, of course. You know what I noticed as well? When we don't do these episodes, we fight more. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. We do. We don't. Dude, yeah, I'm glad. I'm happy to see you. I'm happy to get into the episode. So let's go ahead and get into this episode because I like, we're going to be talking about what we're playing and I just have some things I want to talk about. Before we get into it, I've been wanting to talk about this with you. The Lego Batman Arkham game was announced at Gamescom. I think it was like a week or two ago. Maybe it was about a week ago. I know GameStop happened, but I mean, I think that was like the biggest takeaway for me. And dude, I think it looks awesome. It's gonna be another game I buy and don't play, but dude, I am excited to buy and not play it. No, I'm kidding. I'm gonna try to play it, but it's supposed to be, as big as like, you know, I think it's gonna be bigger than like Arkham Knight is what they say. And dude, I'm very excited, dude, because I love Batman, and it doesn't seem like we're gonna get a proper Batman game anytime soon. So I think this will work. I don't know what your thoughts on it, man, are.
Yeah, man. No, I'm glad that you asked. I totally forgot that we had Gamescom and all those things that had happened. But yeah, dude, Lego Batman, it was definitely one of the ones that I saw that was probably a show stealer, to be quite honest with you. I know a lot of people are very excited for Silk Song and all that, which it looks awesome too. But man, Lego Batman looks killer, bro. I love the way that they brought back the fighting mechanics of like the Arkham Knight series and all that, or the Arkham series. It's so freaking cool. And I like you. I definitely want to buy it. I'm not. I think it comes out next year, so I have some time. I think in order to wait for it. But I definitely want to dive into that. Like my wife and I were like talking about this funny thing. I had shown it to her. I'm like, look at this game. Like they brought it out, and it's funny because we've talked about this recently. I was telling you about this with the show Luke Cage and hip hop and all this stuff, and I won't get too into it. But basically, when the world aligns itself, right? So the Lego Batman game had been announced. Sorry, going on a little rant here. It had gotten announced around this particular same time frame. My wife had put the movie on Lego Batman for my daughter, so she had been watching that and loves it, dude. Like gets really into it. Knows a lot of little quotes, which is hilarious to hear her quote movies because she's like turning into like a little me, right? Well, I mean, she's like a little me, right? And so she was quoting the movie, and then so we went to the Lego store. We got our little Lego toy, and then that game had come out. And I was telling my wife, "Do you remember when we? Because her and I had bought all the PS3. I think the PS4. I think it's all PS3 if I remember correctly. But we bought all the games and we beat all those Lego Batman games, and we freaking loved them. And so I sent that to her, and I'm like, "Dude, we gotta play this." And she's like, "Dang!" So to us, when we say "dang," that means yes, I'm super down. But yeah.
I love that, dude. Yeah, I didn't even mention the Arkham fighting style, dude. Yeah, I'm excited. Yeah, I know you mentioned Lego Batman to me, which is great. It's a good movie, and dude, yeah, I'm really excited for it. And dude, yeah, I don't even know what else to say about it. I'm excited. I love Batman, and hopefully we get some. Hopefully it's great. And again, when it comes out, I'm sure the stars will align, my friend, and we'll be able to play. Maybe the Batman Part Two will be out. No, I'm kidding. That's a little far fetched.
Mm.
But anyway, speaking of games and more games, let's discuss what have we been playing since we've been gone. Since we've been gone. Sorry, copyright issues. I can't sing that too long. Dude, Ernie, what have you been playing? What is this game? This secret game you're telling me about that you're eager to share? Please.
No secret, my friend. No secret here. So, like I stated before, friend of the cat, friend of the cast, friend of the channel, friend of the chan, as you say, Kyle Goldendoodle had introduced me to this thing called GameSir Game Hub. Now, GameSir is a company that makes like controllers. They make peripherals for like iPhones, Androids, and so you can play on your mobile device with a controller. And they make other controllers and all this kinds of cool stuff, right? Um, so they have this thing where you basically have a front end, and a front end is basically like an operating system that you can add into your Android device. And when you do so, it'll create this um basically like a it's sort of like, you know how PlayStation 5 has, you have all your games aligned and all that stuff. Well, it'll have that, but it'll be for every particular thing you have. So I think it has Steam, it has like your emulators, all that stuff. It'll be on that one particular page, and it's just like you log in that, and you could basically load up into anything as long as you link into it. But the cool thing about it, that's all well and dandy. I love that emulation's cool when you do it right. But my favorite thing to do on there was I was able to use Steam. Now, Steam is not operational on a Android device nor an iPhone. That is not a thing unless you use Steam Link, which is a remote share and all that stuff. So it's a remote play, basically. You need your PC. This thing allows you to download certain games that are compatible with your iPhone, and you're able to play it on your phone. Not on your iPhone, on your Android. I don't know. I don't think they have it on iPhone. So I have the S25 Ultra. So I have a Snapdragon Elite 8 or something like that. It's a pretty good chip, right? And dude, that's how I've been playing Hollow Knight on my freaking phone through Steam. And I'm telling you guys, it is one of the coolest things I've ever done on my phone. Don't get me wrong, like I've done a lot of emulation, a lot of cool little things here and there with my phone, and it's wonderful, right? But I don't know what it was. Being able to play Hollow Knight, the Messenger on there, has been so different in terms of how I can play my games, because it's like it runs really well. Like surprisingly, those games are just well optimized, I guess, for anything. Um, any thoughts on that at all, Lex?
No, dude, that sounds really cool, man. I actually have never played Hollow Knight, and I hear great things about it. I would love to try it out. Um, that sounds awesome, man. That's really cool. That's you're gonna have to show me like some videos of it. So like, I mean, I get the vision, I see it, but I want to see you like physically like do it and how it works out, dude. That's awesome. And, Kyle Doodle, Kyle Golden Doodle, dude. He's all about that stuff, dude. He loves all those emulations, and dude, he's crazy. He has a bunch of them, but I love that, dude. It's awesome.
And
But yeah,
the last thing I've been doing is I started replaying Sekiro. Now, Sekiro, if you guys don't know what that is, from Soft Game, I think they did it with Activision. Very difficult, Souls-like, more deflecting of fighting style. Very interesting, very difficult. I've tried to beat this game since it's come out, and it's just I've never gotten used to it. But for whatever reason, Lex, I played it last night. I was like, you know what? I'm on the phone with the wife, and I'm gonna play a little game. And that's pretty sad to say. I should be listening, and I was. Don't get me wrong. We're having a little conversation. We're talking about, if you need to know, we're talking about her having a potluck at her job, and she was talking about the dishes she wanted to serve. So I am listening, multitasking, as they say. And I was playing a little Sekiro, dude. And dude, Lex, I'm telling you, I don't know if it was that conversation about that potluck. I don't know if it was my wife's sweet voice. It gave me some sort of power that I was doing really well, and I defeated the boss, dude. Lex, I'm telling you, look into my eyes. I defeated a boss that I've been trying to beat for years. Talking about like 3 years almost. And I finally beat him yesterday, and I was like, oh my gosh, I think I finally understand this game. And so I'm excited. I like after this, dude. Hopefully we finish on a good time. Don't get me wrong. I love our time, and I hope we last as long as we want to. But if we finish on a good time, dude, I'm hopping on some Sekiro, dude, and that's it. What about yourself, my friend?
That's great, man. That's awesome. Yeah, I know you've been trying to get into that game, and I hear a lot of things about that game being one of the harder ones from the FromSoft series. I wouldn't dare, but dude, I'm glad you're doing it. That is freaking awesome, dude. Update me, man. Maybe it is. It's like you got your what? You got your strength, endurance, dexterity. Dianzis is one of your stats, dude. Those are the stats you got to
Oh
max out, dude.
yeah,
Then potlucks. But dude, I have a couple updates, dude. And I've been meaning to share it with. I mean, but the listeners don't know. So I have been
they don't.
these past few weeks actually been in the midst of getting myself a new monitor because I'm ready. I wanted to switch my PS5 Pro into my office room, my little office area, game area, because I was playing the OLED off my OLED screen in the living room with the PS5 Pro, but it's 65 inches. And as you know, it just gets tired on the eyes and it's a little hard for me to see from that just like that big and kind of far from where I'm at. So I'm like, I really want a PC or a monitor. So I'm like, you know what? I vowed to not play my PS5 Pro until I found the right monitor. And Ernie, I won't bore you with all the details. You were there, you heard it, of all the mix up, all the crap I had to go through to get this monitor. I finally got it. That can be on a bonus content Patreon episode if you guys want to hear about it. I finally got it, dude. And it's really nice, 32-inch OLED 4K screen. Um, Beautiful monitor. I set it
Hmm.
up with a desk mount as Ernie suggested. Thank you so much. It makes it way better. As you can tell, maybe from this video, my angle is a little different. I mean, it's been a while. Maybe you don't even remember. I was trying to mess with it a little bit. So hopefully this works for now. It is a very large screen. I need to definitely work with it more with the brightness because it is kind of hurting my little eyes right now. But it's okay. I'm doing it for you guys. So, dude, I am back. I am running it. I'm running PS5 Pro. But let me tell you this real quick. The first game I played on this monitor was Peak, and it already looked so much better. And dude, let me tell you, Ernie, I got to the peak, dude. We did it, dude. Me and the boys, we got on and we got through. We got to the top, dude. I didn't make it to the top. I died kind of. Me and my other buddy, we died, but two of our friends made it in the end of the game. And dude, it was glorious, but fantastic game, lots of fun. It's kind of funny because I'm like, do we still play it? Like, I don't know. Like, we did it. Like, I don't know. But I mean, we only did it once, so it'd be fun to do it again. It's still a great game, and I saw you playing it recently too. I don't know if you want to get into that after this, but or if you want to comment on it now, you can go if you'd like.
Yeah, sure. So well, congratulations reaching the peak. That's cool, dude. It's crazy because well, yes and no. You can stop playing it and or you can continue to play because the maps that you guys did will change, right? It's not going to be the same thing that you did when you ran it. I don't know how long the update is. I forget when it changes. So you could continue to play it. I mean, it's a great game. It's a lot of fun. But I'm glad that you asked about my experience with Peak recently. I had set up a little LAN party at the house. It was my wife, her friend, and my in front of the channel, in front of the chan, Jason, dude, and his wife, Alex, and we all kind of set up, dude. We made taco. We had like a whole little thing, dude. We made tacos. We freaking brought pizza, and like we were just eating good, drinking, chilling, playing games. It was a lot of fun, dude. But the setup, the thing my wife was telling me too. She's like, we finally did it. Like we always try to set this up, and the first time we set it up, we just ate, didn't play games. The second time, it was like I think we played a little bit, and it wasn't even the games we wanted to play. And this is like the third time we did it. We actually played and ate pretty good, and I was like still complaining about the setup. I'm like, dude, I want a better setup. I didn't have my computer out there. I like, yeah, that's way too much. I ended up just doing my Steam Deck and a laptop that one of my buddies had given to me. God rest his gaming soul. But he didn't pass away. He just his gaming soul, like the gamer in him, sadly left. One of these days we'll get that guy on here. I know. One of these days we'll get that guy on here. He talked about getting on. He's like, "What am I going to talk about?" And I was like, "Dude, you can talk about anything with us." But we'll see. He's a sweet guy. We love that guy. But yeah, dude, we had a little LAN party. It was a lot of fun. Peak was peak. To be honest with you, we got to the the second one, dude, and like it was fun because I think like I was playing with it was like two so it was my friend, my girlfriend, my wife, sorry, friend, and he brought his friend, and those guys know how to play. Like they've just bought the game and they already knew what they were doing, and they had told me I think they had watched videos or one of them knew. So like when they were playing, they just kind of knew what they were doing. So I was following them and they were doing pretty well. And then it just kind of like went to shit. But yeah, it was a good time, man. Thank you for letting me bring that up.
Yeah, dude, LAN parties are fun, man. They're hard to set up, definitely, but once you get it set up, it's super fun. We've definitely done it before as well, and it's a great time. But dude, yeah, it's a great game and it's constantly changing. So yeah, dude, we're definitely gonna go back and play it. I know we just need a little time. But after that, dude, I started playing back to Last of Us Part Two. I was gonna do Death Stranding, but I'm like, you know what? I want to just get through Last of Us Part Two, just so I just have it done because I want to put because that's my disc game and then my digital game is Death Stranding. So once that's done, I want to probably move on to like back to Assassin's Creed Shadows. I've been thinking about that game. But dude, Last of Us Part Two is such a great game, man. I'm like playing it. And there's so many like moments. I'm like, oh my gosh, it's just so fun. I might have talked about it before. I'm like, man, they just what do they do with the show? They messed up the second season. Like, there's so much stuff that they could have filled and just added, and it would have been great, but they just didn't. But dude, there's some awesome moments in the game. Like, and the game looks gorgeous on my screen, dude. I'm like, and that's a PS4 game. So once I pop in that Death Stranding, bro, it's gonna be I'm gonna like, you know that one sound. But dude, yeah. So I'm having a blast. I'm happy. I'm happy. I'm set up with my monitor. Happy we're set up here. So let's go ahead and jump into the topic this week, dude, if you don't mind. A couple weeks ago, I
Yes.
want to say it was about 2 weeks ago, we did our top gaming protagonists. And last week, I'm sorry again, we did not have an episode. But now this week, we're going to top game villains. Villains. Gosh, my words are getting mixed up. And no particular order, we're going to go ahead and start. But of course, we do want to start with one of the big bads, dude, the big guy, the bigster. You know what I'm talking about? Dude, Bowser, man, from the Mario series, dude. He is one of the villains. I mean, there's obviously been some soft side shown to him in ways, but he's still the villain. He's still kidnapped in the Princess Peach without her consent. He's brute force, flames. He's sending minions. He's a simple character, but he's iconic. Dude. One of the game's most recognizable, dude. He's clumsy, he's overconfident, he's predictable. But now with the movie, I guess I want to ask, like, is he still the real threat, or does his charm make him iconic? What do you think?
It's interesting because the way that they set up the character of Bowser in the beginning of the game, even as a kid, right? You feel that he is the big baddie, or at least when I was a kid, I've always felt that he was a force to be reckoned with. I think at the time, though, as a kid, my motor skills weren't all there, right? Like it was more difficult to beat him at the tail end of the game where he's like throwing fireballs at you or whatever, and and in your mind it looks like crazy high graphics, but it's like all 8-bit crazy, which is beautiful art, don't get me wrong. But it's like you're fighting him and it's all and then you're fighting him, and I remember feeling like, oh my gosh, like am I gonna be able to overcome this guy? And he did feel evil at the time, and I think like you stated before, like throughout the years, sort of Bowser became like the overconfident, clumsy caricature of himself. Like he wasn't as evil. And I think when the movie finally came out, you saw a different side of Bowser. And I think also some of the newer games they do that too. But it took a while for him to go back to formula. You know what I mean? Where it was like this, like he's a force to be reckoned with because he is. He's a crazy guy, and like you said, he's doing things to Peach without her consent. But I don't know. Does it matter now? Mario and Peach aren't together. They're just friends, dude. So I don't know. Thoughts?
Dude, I want to say too. I think in Mario Odyssey they kind of made him a joke, right? Remember he's all in that wedding suit because he wants to get married, and you're fighting him, and it's
Yeah,
just
yeah, I
like super
remember.
silly. But yeah, I think you're right. Like they made him less of a force to be reckoned with, and I mean but it's like there's still some iterations, right, where he's still like that big bad, especially the old school version, like you said, like the graphics, at the time it was 8-bit, but gosh, a lot of those they still look better than a lot of stuff coming out now, to be honest with you. But dude, yeah, he's a brute. He's definitely an iconic character, and I think Jack Black definitely put him more iconic, especially he has a little song and everything. But they embrace that. But I mean, they had to make it more of a kids movie, which it is a kids game, some would argue, but would we? I don't know. I think adults mostly play that game. Uh, dude, Mario Odyssey 2 needs to come out, honestly, but then I'd have to get a Switch too, and I don't want to do that. So I'm gonna move on to the next villain. If that's okay. Any more thoughts on Bowser? Good.
No.
Thumbs up. Kiss, blow, kiss. Dude, the next one. a character from the game Far Cry 3, Voss Montenegro. Dude, this guy. Now, I played Far Cry 2. It wasn't memorable. I don't even know who the villain was, but when I played Far Cry 3, and I think people would argue that Far Cry 3 is probably one of the most iconic Far Cries because of the villain and because of the gameplay. He's psychotic, unpredictable, charismatic. His definition of insanity monologue breaks the fourth wall. He's crazy. He's just a crazy dude, man. And I think honestly, we have a little question here. Did he outshine every other villain? And to be honest, I think so. Like I don't know. Who was the next one? I think it was Peg Mean, played by Troy Baker, which is fantastic. I never really beat that one, so I didn't really dive too much into it. And then the fifth one, I believe, was what's his name? Juan Carlo Esposito, which is a pretty sweet villain as well. But I think Voz is just the one everyone talks about. What are your thoughts on Voz, dude?
No, yeah, man. I mean, Voz was a very interesting character. Uh, Sorry, I lost my train of thought there. He was a really cool character just because he was able to feel more personal to the character that you were, because obviously at this point in time you're not playing as yourself, even though you're a first person, you're playing as this particular character. And I forget the name of the main guy that you are. I think it's Ethan maybe, but I might be getting mistaken.
I want to say it's Jason Brody.
Okay, well, thank you. Brody. Yeah, because they say Brody or something like that. So thank you for clarifying that. But yeah, so it felt personal to that particular character, the insanity of this island, and what is causing everyone to act the way that they are. And I think that works so beautifully. And I know you said, did he outshine a lot of the villains? I mean, yeah, right? Like at the time, that's all everyone was talking about. You even like when you saw him at he came out in Breaking Bad, and I think that was after the game, and people were like, dude, that's freaking Boz, right? Or like, or I think it was before. Yeah, that was after the game. Sorry, I think if I remember correctly. And I remember people still claiming that that was a character. And you know how you know that he stood the test of time. He comes out in the DLC for like Far Cry like 6. Like they do this whole like run of him where it's like Pagan Min, I think. Voz comes out, and it's like that's how I get, not in the zeitgeist, but like how well known of a character and this antagonist he was. And I think he works so well because when the way that they film it and the way that they set it up when you're in that first person, it feels like he's doing it to you. Like it feels personal. Like he's grabbing you and he's like, let me tell you something. And he's got the big old knife and you're like, dude, I feel so helpless. Like I truly feel helpless. Like there's nothing I can do. I eventually, obviously, you do things and stuff like that. But yeah, what a wonderful antagonist. And I think he fits so well into that world. I don't know your thoughts, man.
Dude, 100% agree. I love him as a villain. He's great, and like you said, he's charismatic as well. So it's like you like the guy as well. Like, oh my gosh, I like this guy. It's like, and I always like that. That's always one of my favorite things about villains. Like when a villain does it, like when you truly like when a villain. I'm trying to put this in better words. Like if you really hate a villain, but you also like him, I feel like it's such a great job of either like writing and obviously the actor. Like there's movies where that happened where I'm like, gosh, I really like that villain. People are like, why? You're supposed to hate him. Why? I know that's the point. Like he made me like him because they're just so good. You know what I mean? I don't know if you feel the same way. If that even makes sense. But dude, yeah, I'm just a big fan of that. So let's go ahead and move on to the next guy, shall we? A guy from a little a series of some evil residents, Resident Evil, Albert Wesker. Now, dude, to be honest, I played a few of the Resident Evils. I have not played them all. I've seen Wesker. I know of the character. I don't know too much about him. Do you want to talk about him a little bit? Do you want to introduce him? You can probably do justice better than I can.
Yeah, definitely. I gotta look at my notes here, but dude, Albert Wesker's dude, right? He's there through most of the Resident Evil story. He's kind of one of the reasons that the residents become evil. You know what I mean? If I remember correctly, and he's kind of a staple of a lot of the games up to a certain point. Then he kind of like disappears. I think his last game is probably Resident Evil 5, if I remember correctly, but I think he comes out on 6. I never beat that one. That's like the one Resident Evil game I didn't beat, and I don't remember all of them, but I know in Resident Evil 4, obviously, you don't really see him, right? You just had finished that game, so, but yeah, dude, Mastermind basically manipulates Umbrella through the experiments, betrays a lot of allies, has a lot of power and tries to control the power that he tries to create with this sort of infection. Um, at the tail end of his story, he becomes a superhuman threat, right? Like he becomes this crazy villain that's over the top, but it also feels like it fits in that narrative of that particular game, right? A lot of the Resident Evil was very subtle horror, not like crazy, but it's there. You know, you're worried, you're surviving this particular incident. But I think with Wesker, it sort of became in your face, and it was when Capcom I think started to change their Resident Evil games from more survival horror to more action oriented horror, where it felt like you needed to have a lot of weapons and ammo and all this stuff, and you became like this killing machine of these monsters or residents that became evil. Um, but yeah, he's always his flaws, man. Always, he's an arrogant guy. Always overestimates himself. Is blinded by his ambition to become more powerful and control something that he believes he can control. But at the end, drives him mad, right? But yeah,
In the end, the good prevails. That's awesome. Yeah, dude, I really want to play the other Resident Evils. I need to play all of them. I mean, maybe not all of them. I know there's a bunch of spin-offs and all that stuff, but dude, to be honest, for some reason I remember him coming out on Village as like a little secret like scene. I could be wrong though. I could be wrong. Don't quote me on this. Anybody who knows,
I
please
don't remember.
let us know. Comment if you're a big Wesker fan. Dude, if I ever get a cat, I'm gonna name him Albert Whiskers. You like that? Dude,
I
next
like
thing.
that.
Let's go into the next villain here from a game called Legend of Zelda Ganon, or Ganondorf, as he's mostly called. Now, again, I'm not a huge Zelda person, but I did play Breath of the Wild a lot. I know him from Super Smash Brothers as well. um, but he is the evil of Hyrule. He's the main antagonist of our hero Link here. Power hungry sorcerer king, obsessed with the Triforce, always returns no matter how many times you defeat the guy, which is a true villain, right? It's like one of those, when you see a movie and at the end it's like they're dead and then it zooms in, it's all and their eye open or whatever. Uh, Obsessed, repetitive, single minded, dude. I mean, again, I can't do this guy justice because I don't know him too well. Perhaps you do, Ernie. I don't know if you want to could get into him a little bit.
Yeah, so I mean I've played like the first Zelda, I played Breath of the Wild, Twilight Princess, a few of the other games, and he just becomes a sort of staple of the franchise because it's not that's the thing about Zelda, it's generational. So it's not always the same Link that you play as. Obviously the Link is you. That's the point, you're the Link in this game. But it's always a different Link. It's not the same story. I think there is some canon that kind of like falls into the story. I forget which ones in particular order in my head, but some of them are different. There's like different stories, different Ganondorfs, and all that stuff. So it really depends. I think in the game Breath of the Wild, he's not Ganondorf. I think he's, I think he is, but his name is like Calamity Ganon or something like that. I forget. At the top of my head, I haven't played that game in quite some time, but he's a different version of whatever that character is. Dude, it looks freaking, dude, he looks awesome. I love it. Like, I love like you said, our introduction to him when I got to know him more, I guess, and I guess just in general played more as him was freaking Super Smash Bros. Right? He had his freaking chops, and he had like kind of similar moves to Captain Falco or Falcon, right? And Falcon Punch, he did the same sort of moves, but a little bit like in a darker sort of mystic way. And he was a really cool character. I thought he was awesome in Smash Bros. So when I eventually started taking on him in Zelda Breath of the Wild, I was like, this is really cool. And it was such a different fight. It's not he's not like that. Um, but yeah, he's a cool character. I think overall, um, he's a timeless one. Like I stated before, I think he's just always going to continue to be the baddie for Zelda because of the the way his the way he's set up in the story is like there is no end to him basically. But yeah,
Yeah, I think in Breath of the Wild, you can just go right ahead and fight him straight on, right? You don't even have to do everything else, which is pretty wild. I didn't do that
uh,
because
uh,
obviously you have to be more powered.
yeah,
Dude, yeah. Is Ganon canon? Is that the question, dude? I don't know. No, you like that one, huh? I'm
I
just full
did.
of them. I'm full of them here, dude. Let's go ahead and move on to the next one. Now, I am familiar with this character again here. we had this. I mean, most of these villains we had on our their enemies were on our protagonist list. But we're talking Dutch Vanderlyn, dude, from Red Dead Redemption 1, which he's in a little bit, but more so in 2. He is a charismatic cult leader. Another guy where I'm talking about, like, he's a guy you love to hate, right? You know, he's got some darkness because, you know, he's trying to lead this. He'll do anything for his clan. He's idealistic, but he starts turning paranoid and greedy. He starts betraying the closest to him, and anything to benefit himself in the way. It just ends up being more about himself than his group. Um, he's narcissistic, hypercritical, delusional. Dude, he is still an icon. I mean, I love to we love to quote him. I mean, we love Red Dead Redemption, obviously, and just like I, I always quote this from him every time you like in that game you would move to a new camp, and Dutch would be like, "This is it, Arthur. I can feel it." But he's just like, and you believed him in a way, right? I mean, obviously your character in Arthur's like, "Nah, this ain't gonna go right." I mean, you think that as well too, but you want to believe this guy because he's so charismatic. And I don't know, did he believe in his own ideals, or was he just always this master manipulator, dude? What do you think?
I have a plan, Arthur. You know, to personally, playing the game, had I not played Red Dead Redemption 1 and known kind of the fallout of the characters, would have been such a different take of my Red Dead Redemption gameplay, because I already knew what was going to happen. But I will say this, dude, that game is so well written, and like you said, the charismatic nature of Dutch and the way he portrays himself to the whole gang, right, is so different from the Dutch Vanderlyn you meet in Red Dead Redemption 1. And I think you kind of get lost in the ideals that he's trying to perceive on you, right? Because he tells you, like, I'm thinking of this great plan that's going to help us all. We're all going to benefit. Please. And like you said, it's kind of like that cult leader, right? Like you start to believe his BS. And when I was playing the game, I remember feeling like, oh my gosh, like, I don't remember. This is not the Dutch Vanderlyn I know. Like, is he different? Like, what changes him? What is the reason that he starts to become the Dutch Vanderlyn we end up meeting in Red Dead Redemption 1? And obviously you get to see it, but it's so not like shocking, but it's still sort of, there's this moment of like, man, I didn't want it to go down like this. Because you start to like this crew, like the way that you're building bonds. I know they're all the thing about all these, like Arthur Morgan, John Marston, Dutch Vanderlyn, they're bad people, bad people. Just because they're doing a few good things, depending on how you went through your playthrough, they're still bad people, right? And I think you still, like, I think you talked about this before, but you still start to like these characters and you start to feel this connection with them. And so when you're going through the story and you start losing your friends and you start, gaining more traction on where you feel that you're going to get, it's so heart wrenching towards the end, right? Like if it, again, that's just well written story. And that's the beauty of that game. And it's hard because you and I have had this conversation. We've tried so many times to recommend this game to many people, and people are like, I can't get past the beginning. That hour is hard for me, but I'm like, dude, please, I'm telling you, this is like a good book. You just got to work your way through it, and I promise you, once you hit that end, you're gonna appreciate the beautiful art that you just succumb to. But that's neither here nor there. I'm not even talking about the character. I'm just talking about the game.
Beautifully said, Ern. I know you mentioned you like all these people in your crew, except for one, Micah Bell. Everyone hates that guy. We all hate him. He's always the wild card. But dude, yes, dude,
Yeah,
fantastic. I
definitely.
love that, dude. There's another game I really want to play. And I was just thinking about it as you talked about it because I just kind of got lost in your words a little bit listening to you describe the game. And I know how beautiful the game is. I love it. I'm like, man, how good would it look on my monitor if I played that right, like on my PS5? But like, I know I was
Oh,
planning to play on my
yeah,
Asus, which I
yeah,
have
yeah.
not touched in a while because I'm so used to my monitor again now. But I'm like, damn it, I don't want to just play it off the console. Anyway, that's another story for another time. Maybe in a couple weeks you'll be like, "What am I playing, Red Dead?" Dude, let's move on to the next guy here. This guy, now this guy, he he's actually a little bit more familiar to me now. I
This
have heard of
guy.
this character. I know about him. However, I've never played the games because I was too scared until up until recently, last year actually, last October-ish. Dude, a little game that was remade. called Silent Hill 2. And the character, of course, we're talking about. I mean, you could argue there's many enemies in that game. Maybe even yourself is an enemy. But the one that is scary is Pyramid Head, dude. A total icon of a character. I feel like most people, even if you haven't played this game, will know who Pyramid is Head is. I don't know. He's just such an iconic look to him. And he's a terrifying, unstoppable monster who symbolizes guilt and punishment. Dude, he's representing the main protagonist's inner demons. He has no words. He doesn't really talk. He's just too feared. It's like, oh, he's just scary. And I think now you know what I was going to say something about the game, but I don't want to spoil it. But is he one of like the scariest designs or overused in later spin-offs? But also, I don't know if you remember the movie at all and seeing him, you're just like, oh, he looks cool, but it's not as menacing from what I remember. Obviously, in the game, you're like put into like small room with him. You're like, ah. What's your take on our little friend here, Pyramid Head?
So, I mean, Pyramid Head, it's iconic. I think a lot of people, you show them an image of Pyramid Head, and I think they'll get creeped out, and I think they'll know what it's from. Silent Hill is iconic. I think it's like Resident Evil. It has a special place in the horror genre, and Pyramid Head is just one of those characters that is seen as one of the main staples of just that particular horror genre in the 90s 2000s that the game had come out. I myself have played with Silent Hill 1, never beat it, too scared to finish it when I was a kid. I played Silent Hill 2, didn't finish it, I was scared as a kid. And went to the rest of the Silent Hills, I didn't even play them because I was scared, and I was an adult at that point. But at some point, my friend, I had to do it, my friend. They announced the remake, and Lex and I were like, you know what, Lex? Why don't we do this? Why don't we beat this game together? Astrobot was out at the same time. So we had a little levity, right, between games because one was scary as hell. I remember telling you I would get on chats with people where I would listen to audios. You and I would talk to each other, and I was like playing it. I remember being on edge, dude. And I would like be on Discord. It was this whole thing. But I would also play Astrobot. That way it could alleviate all that freaking anxiousness I've had of the game. And the character himself, Pyramid Head, is scary. I mean, his design is really cool. You don't know what he is. Like personally, I'm always like again, it might be just me because I'm a scaredy cat. But when I see him, I'm scared of it. Like I know a lot of people see him and they're like, he's got a pyramid on his head, and it's like silly or whatever. But it's like I never seen it that way because in my head I'm like, what has why why is this character designed in this manner, right? And why is he so unstoppable, right? And I think that's the thing that like scares you the most. I mean, like in the movie, like you said, he's not as creepy. In the game, I think it's a little different because you're trying to survive, right? You're put in this place. You decide if you die or live right now. And I think it just works really well. I love showing my wife any image of the Pyramid Head, or I'll show her anything of game with that. I'll just always will because she gets creeped out by it, and that's how I know I'm not the only one that's scared of this. But yeah, that's on me. I don't know about you.
Yeah, dude. I mean, I can like, yeah, you got me to play this game. For some reason I felt really excited to play it too. I don't know why, because I'm not like super into scary games, which I'll play them. Um, there is a particular part in that game where like you're just in a room and you're not supposed to fight him. You just have to kind of run and avoid him. And I remember that being so intense. Like you went into like his little room at one point. It's all like creepy, and you had to like climb a ladder. And I remember just my heart just and you can't like see really. You're just climbing. And I didn't play like you. I didn't play talking to people. I just played it, and it was scary. It was good. But dude, I enjoy that game. It's a great game. Looking forward to Silent Hill F coming out. I think in a month from now. Um, we'll see if Pyramid makes another appearance. But let's go ahead and move on to the next one. A game um, about an underwater city, dude. Let me take you down below a lot of feet. I don't know how many feet below it is, but there's a city called Rapture by a man who entitled by the sweat of his brow. I think I said that wrong. Andrew Ryan, dude, of the Bioshock series, the very first game. Obviously, it trickles into the other games as well. You could argue that the third in Infinite, there's a character, but I think Andrew Ryan's a lot more iconic. I won't spoil exactly what happens in that game, but he is the founder of Rapture. He wants to build this underground society, but he's corrupted, dude. He has this freedom turned into oppression. He's arrogant, hypocritical, extremist philosophy. He introduces these these plasmids to people that give people superhuman abilities. And of course, like any society would, probably what happens in the game is it crumbles due to all this. And he's just, yeah, his vision just turned bad. It just didn't go well. And there's a line, he is an iconic line of his, "Would you kindly," which is funny because you don't really hear him say it until like kind of later in the game. But is he a truly evil guy or just a tragic visionary, dude, destroyed by his own beliefs, dude? What do you think, dude? What are your thoughts about Andrew Ryan?
Yeah, going back, like the quotes of Andrew Ryan, and I think that character works so well again because of the way that the world is perceived to you and the way you see everything that's going on. And I think it's world building because you walk into an area and you're like, well, what happened here? And you start to find out, like, oh my gosh, some craziness ensued here. And Andrew Ryan is basically at the forefront of everything. But, his vision and everything goes out of control because not everyone sees the vision the way he does. And they try to get to his vision, but they hit these bumps that don't fit the narrative of what was supposed to happen in this sort of utopia. And I think Andrew Ryan, again, so iconic. What I was telling you is that my wife, I've gone on rants for like hours telling her the story of Andrew Ryan, telling her this is what happens in Bioshock, this is who Andrew Ryan is and what he does. And I would tell her these quotes of like, is a man not entitled to the sweat of his brow? And like all these, like a man chooses a slave obeys and all these things. And she will just say them. And I'm always like, this is so fun. And I told her one day, I was like, dude, I told her because I don't have any tattoos. I know you don't either. And that I know of, right? Maybe you have a little tramp stamp that I'm not aware of. And but I told her, I was like, dude, if I were to get a tattoo, I would get the freaking what's it called, not the handcuffs, you know what I'm talking about, right? The ones from Bioshock Infinite. It's like the little cuffs. Oh my gosh, do you know what I'm talking about, Lex?
I think I do, but I can't think of it right now. I thought
Ah,
I thought you were gonna say you wanted to, what you wanted to do is like, I'll, on our butt cheeks, I'll get a man chooses, and on yours a man of slave base. You like that one?
I do.
I'll be like Tenacious D when we combine each other. Dude, yeah, I want to go back and say, I'm sorry, I did mess up. You're right. It was Fontaine that did it. I don't know why I thought, and it's funny, I just played the damn game. But yeah, dude, exactly what you said. You uncovered the world secrets. And I want to say this before we move on. That was like, and I know I played quite a bit of games before this, but I remember that being one of the first games where I'm like, oh my gosh, a story can do this in a game? Like, this could happen? I was truly thrown off by the twist. The final boss fight in it is not great, but it's still pretty iconic for the game, and it's fantastic. I'm glad you guys talk about it. That is
Yeah.
awesome. Um, Honestly, we can do a whole episode on these Bioshock games. I think we should at one point because I love talking the story. I love it, and it's just the dread of it. But we're only talking about the villain, right? We're only talking
Yeah,
about the
yeah.
villain. So,
No, you're good. It is chains.
chains. Okay, chain. All right, dude. Let's move on to the next thing. Dude, you might have to introduce this next character, please, a little bit. From the Final Fantasy series, a character who I've seen, I think, in probably the Kingdom Hearts series, but really, I never played the Final Fantasy series. So Sephiroth, dude, can you get into him a little bit, dude, for me, please?
Yeah, dude, he has a freaking great theme song that goes. Freaking, it's sweet. I played it the other day for my wife. I don't know why I played it, and she's just like, I do a lot of fun things with my wife. I apologize to her and to friends of the channel here. I like to. If you thought I was crazy with Lex, you should see how I am with my wife.
He's fun.
Um,
He's fun.
I'm a fun guy. I'm a fun guy. Fun guy. Fungus guy. But yeah, dude. Honestly, tragic hero. You know, turned world destroying villain. Uh, he's hunting Cloud. He's his rival in his nightmares. Like I said, his theme song alone is unforgettable. I think you play that and everyone will know what it is. Um, the guy's got his flaws though. He's ego driven, consumed by vengeance, detached from humanity, and one of the main reasons. I mean, you once you play the game, you'll understand he's poisoned, right? So in the Final Fantasy game, there's these things called materia or something like, I can't remember the exact name out of the top of my head, but it's these things that basically these super soldiers sort of have taken, and it gives them these magical powers And I think Sephiroth has these things, and he goes crazy because of that poison. And so he works for this basically corporation, or he did work for the corporation. Eventually, things happen. I won't get into that, but he worked for this corporation that was basically trying to destroy the planet. And so you, as Cloud, kind of just meet him, and you work with him as a soldier, and you inspire to be him because he's like the super soldier that everyone wants to be because he's so badass. And the crazier he gets, the longer his blade is. That's why his blade is so crazy, I think. It's a random character. But um that
He said, "I see your Schwartz is as big as mine."
so Cloud, he ends up,
I think you're muted. I cannot hear you.
Oh, my bad. So Cloud, thank you. So Cloud is essentially he ends up working for Avalanche for some money, which is a people who want to protect this world from the corporations that are trying to destroy it. And one of the guys, I forget his name right now, top of my head, I can't think of his name, but he has a big ass Gatling gun as an arm, and he's all, "We're trying to protect Mother Earth." He's sweet dude. I forget his name. Gosh, he's such a cool character too. But yeah, so you meet them, and within that, you start having like these dreams of Sephiroth always coming back and hurting you. But he's dead, but he's not. It's really interesting, really cool character, really great design, dude. He looks so sick. He looks so menacing without having all these craziness, like crazy attachments on himself. He just has a big sword and long hair. You know, he's very typical anime-esque villain, but there's something about him that just is so menacing. And I think not just the theme song fits his character so darn well that when you see him, you're like, you better run. I think they did, one of my favorite. I mean, I love it. I love Sephiroth. I love how he is designed. But one of my favorite introductions to Sephiroth, I know you talked about Kingdom Hearts a little bit, but Super Smash Bros. If you guys go watch that trailer for Super Smash Bros., the way they introduce Sephiroth, dude, is so hard. It's so freaking cool. And I remember seeing it and being like, dude, I need this character. And I bought it. I never even played with him. I just wanted it, but continue my fun.
The character's Barrett Wallace that you were looking for. I just looked him
thank
up.
you.
Yeah. Dude, Sephiroth, I mean, again, I don't know too much about this series. I never played him, but I do know the character. He's just so iconic, and that's interesting about the blade. I did not know any of that. I love that. That's awesome. Great character, great character. Let's go on to the next one. Dude, one can argue this character is all over the place. Comic books, movies, shows, but in a game, the Batman, we talked about it earlier at the top of the show, the Batman Arkham series, dude, the Joker. Of course, you got to include the Joker. Obviously, there's so many other bads going on in the Arkham series, but at the end of the day, the Joker's part of it, dude. Even in the third one, he's still kind of there. I'm not going to spoil what happens, but like he's still there. He's still controlling in a way. Even when he's not the main big bad. I think Arkham Knight. Well, Arkham Knight is the main character, and then Scarecrow, right, is like the Bane in the Arkham Knight series, I believe. I can't remember.
No, he's not.
Scarecrow?
No, in Arkham Knight.
Because I thought I remember he like poisons the whole city and you can't really go down. Maybe I'm getting the ones wrong, but I know he does that at some point in that game. But dude, yes, he is unpredictable. He is twisted humor makes him. He's terrifying. He's entertaining. He's one of those villains as well. He was just like completely batshit crazy. Bat as in his relationship with Batman is crucial. There, he doesn't want to kill Batman. He never does because he loves having him chasing him down, dude. That's how sick and twisted he is. He even says in the movies, I don't want to kill you. What would I do without you? He's obsessed, dude. He's unstable. He's one of those villains that are just like, he's Chef Kiss. He's such an iconic character. So simple too, right? He's just like, and he's not menacing in any way. Like he's a skinny dude, especially in this show, in the game, except for the first, at the end of the first one where he's all big, all ripped up on juice, on no juice. But dude, he's just iconic. He's terrifying. No one wants to be in a room with this guy because you never know what he's gonna do, dude. What are your thoughts on our friend the Joker, dude?
Yeah, man, a great character. I think he embodies just the psychotic nature of how crazy someone could be. The unpredictability of him, and I think it shows in a lot of the game. I think the game is probably one of the better versions, well written versions of the Joker that we've had, and I think it there's a reason that he's such an iconic antagonist, and the reason he works so well for Batman because Batman's ideals and the way that he perceives himself as this particular hero, right? Go against everything that the Joker stands for, and so the Joker is able to manipulate the Batman to be this 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 basically caped crusader, right? He's able to manipulate him, and that's the point of him, right? It's like that he feels that he can corrupt the Batman. That's his goal overall throughout the movies, the games, the TV shows, all that stuff. He wants to corrupt this character who, in his own way, is uncorruptible because he'll never don a gun and kill. He'll beat the crap out of someone and leave him in a hospital, but he'll never kill, right? And that's the point, right? And so I think the Joker wants him to be that. He wants him. If the Joker could, he'd want him to be best buddies with him. Like that's the point of the. I feel like that's the way the character is. I love his character in the Lego Batman movie. We were talking about it, but the Joker, he wants Batman to tell him that he hates him. He wants him to be like that. We're in a hateful relationship, and then Batman's like, I don't see that's your problem. You want to put me in a ship, and Batman doesn't do relationships or something like that because that's the point of the movie, right? It's really silly, but that's the point. Is like he wants to be the only person that he kind of like seeks the obsession of him, and it's really interesting, dude. I love the way that character is done. I don't like Batman Arkham when they give him the juice, the no juice. I think the juice
Asylum.
is loose. Yeah, Asylum. Sorry, thank you. I don't think they should have done that. I think they should have just done such a different thing. But I mean, at the end of the day, it's like it worked in the overall trilogy. And I think my favorite Joker is Arkham Knight. I know a lot of people don't really care for Arkham Knight, but I really like Arkham Knight, and especially the way that they handle Joker on that particular game.
Yeah, I mean, I would argue City, but I looked it up. Yeah, too. So yeah, I do remember
You're
correctly.
muted.
No, I have it on.
No,
It's
you're
on
not muted now. You were, but go ahead.
Oh, that's weird. Sorry. Let it out.
You're,
Dude, I lost my train of thought. Yeah, so the third one, yeah, Arkham Knight, it is Scarecrow. I do remember it is Scarecrow as the main antagonist, and the what's his name works for him. The Arkham Knight, he works under him as well. You're looking all confused. Look it up. Look it up. I remember this. But actually, I think Arkham City is one of my favorites. But yeah, dude, love the Joker. And I wanted to go back on which I thought it was funny. Just it has nothing to do with Joker. I mean, it does, but when we say like, oh, Batman doesn't kill, like you see those videos online like Batman doesn't kill. Meanwhile, in the game, he's all beating the crap out of a person, like it's really bad. Like that would kill them. He's just so strong. But dude, let's move on to one of the final bosses here of our little talk here. One would argue this game has many bosses. Who is the main boss? I don't know, but there is one boss in particular that Ernie chose out of the pack that most people might choose out of the pack. Millennia, dude, in the Elden Ring series. Now, I personally never got to her, and it's funny because I think you can technically miss her, right? She's not really I don't think she's even really part. You don't have to advance the story with her, but she's one of the hardest bosses in Souls history, as it's been said. Tragic backstory tied to rot and sacrifice forces players to test up patience and mastery. She's relentless, punishing, no mercy. I have never fought her, so I don't know how unfair she is. From what I've seen, I know she's unfair. I know people have had help from a famous helper. I think his name was Dutney Solo her. Shout out to him. Ernie, I know you've had experience with this boss. Please let us know how your experience went with her.
Yeah, dude. Melania is an awesome character. I think in Elden Ring, one of my favorites. I love her design. I think her story is really cool too. I won't get into all that stuff. I think we'll talk more about her as a boss and the way that they handle her fights. It's like you stated, it's full of rot. So you're essentially rotting away the longer you're there, and you need to take medication for these particular things. I forget what they're called at the top of my head. I haven't played Elden Ring in quite some time. But you take these things so you're not dying slowly and consistently. And she has these moves that are very unforgiving if you get caught in them. But the she's not as difficult as people claim her to be. I think people just get there and they're at the lower level. You know what I mean? I think you just need to be really prepared and you need to be at a higher level to defeat her. I beat her by myself, and then I helped friend of the channel, Kyle Goldendoodle, when we played the co-op. We did it together, and it was a lot of fun. One of my favorite fights, to be honest with you. Also, there was another one in another great fight in the DLC, but I won't get into that. But he is an awesome fight. I won't get into that. The main baddie of the whole Elden Ring, I think, is Radon, but we don't find that out. But yeah, dude, yeah, Melania, dope. I suggest you guys go fight her. I think even if you don't feel well equipped, just go and look at what she does because it's really cool. I don't know if they fixed it where they made her easier or anything like that. I don't think so. I beat it a while ago and she was still pretty difficult. But like I said, I think it was because I went in there and I had watched the videos. So dude, I was trying to prepare myself for what I was going into because I know from what I've heard from word of mouth is like she is one of the more difficult, antagonists in the game that will, kill you. And I love her entrance where she starts to put her armor on and she's like kind of what is it like
Decaying?
deteriorating a little bit, right? You start seeing the rock kind of like eating at her flesh, and so that's why she has that armor, so it can kind of help stop that. It's a really cool story. I don't know it like exactly to the T. I used to this is a random little side rant here for you, Lex. I used to watch lore videos on Elden Ring while playing the game and after I finished it, and I still don't know a lot of the game. There's so much that I'm just what is going on with it, dude? It's such a cool freaking story. I actually bought the freaking manga. There's a manga, like a little comic book. Bought it. It's a silly one. It's basically like it's like Elden Ring if a fan wrote it. It's just silly, but it's fun because it does play on it. But yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, man. I mean, I wouldn't even know where to find her to be honest with you. But yeah, I mean, I think one of my favorite bosses in Elden Ring that I encountered was Radon, the very first iteration at the festival, where you find him on his little horse. I thought that was such a fun fight. Um, but yeah, I mean, it's funny because you mentioned, you have to go and prepare tomorrow. I think you have to go and prepare for most of these fights for Elden Ring, especially. But dude, it's a blast. I love that, dude. Now I know there's so many other villains on the list that are out there that we missed. So we're not going to get all of there. We're going to stop there with all the villain lists. And if you have any other villains, please add them to the comments. Ernie, is there anything else you want to add to our episode today?
I know. I think I'm good. Do you want me to send us home or what?
No, you do what you usually do, and then I close it out. You know what I mean? Or if you want me to, hey, it's been a while. It's been a while.
Yeah, I got you. Well, as always, Lex, thank you for joining me on this episode, and I thank myself for joining you. I had a fun time, man. Thank you for choosing this topic. I think it was great. But as always, I would like to thank the audience for tuning in every week when we drop an episode. We appreciate it, and we appreciate you. Please subscribe to us on YouTube at Checkpoint Reached, and give us a like, give us a thumbs up there, and write a comment. Let us know what's your favorite antagonist. What's your favorite villain? What is a character that stood in front of you as you slayed him down, and you were like, "Wow, I appreciated him being this villain for my particular game." I don't know, because there's a lot of awesome villains that we didn't talk about. This is just a random list that we sort of put together that we were thinking about. But maybe you have something different. Let me hear your list. Please follow us on Instagram at checkpoint_reached. There, I and Lex will be posting our episodes, and we will also answer any inquiries you might have. Please, Lex, send us home.
Yes, of course. Thank you all so much for your patience. Of course, we hope we don't have too many issues with this episode, and hopefully we can just continue our programming as scheduled. Because, dude, I have missed this, and I have missed all of you. Again, everything Ernie said. Please comment. Let us know your top villains. Let us know if you want to talk some of the questions we had for you. So thank you all so much again. Follow us at checkpoint_reached. We'll see you next time. Checkpoint Reached. Goodbye.
Goodbye.